Hi, everybody. Welcome to North of MAGA. I'm here to give you a Canadian's perspective on the American political landscape, as well as my comments on general world issues. Today, I'd like to talk to you about tourism, particularly tourism from Canadians going into the United States. A lot of YouTubers have covered this subject. I still don't think it's been covered enough because it's very important. I think this is going to affect the United States in horrible ways. I think of when I was a kid, I wanted to work summers when I was still in school. And that's how I made money to be able to pay for school supplies and so on. So who's being affected, I feel, by these tourism boycott, if you will, is the younger people, or companies that are businesses that are just borderline. I mean, the margins on some of these motels and hotels are just absolutely zero. I know that American companies in Maine, for example, working so hard. They're so friendly to Canadian tourists. They're just fantastic people. And they're being really hurt now. They're being really hurt right now. Um, and I hate saying that we're hurting blue states because you didn't vote for the guy. But something has to be done. Something has to be done. And it's not just Canadian tourism. There's a lot happening with worldwide tourism. But today we're going to concentrate on what's happening with tourism from Canadians going to the United States. Has there really been a decline? Do people feel it? I'll show you some comments also that I've seen on American networks and some comments I've seen on Canadian networks. So we'll be able to do a bit of a comparison. Um, that's it. So let's go take a look at this. So the first thing I wanted to do was take a look at getting as many facts as possible and getting the numbers down. So here I went to my trusted friend ChatGPT, which, as you know, must be checked and verified and double checked and so on. So let's take a look at this. Has tourism declined from Canadian citizens to the U.S.? There's my question. Let's see what ChatGPT has to tell us. Yes, recent data shows a marked decline in tourism from Canadians to the U.S. Here's how it's shaping up. Sharp drop in actual travel. June 2025 saw Canadian border crossings primarily by road plunge 33% compared to June of 2024. That's incredible because in April, people were starting to say, there's a bit of a small change. Let's see what happens. 33% from last year. And last year I still hadn't recovered from COVID numbers. Really hadn't. Air travel from Canada to the U.S. is also falling. April saw a 14% year-over-year drop. May was down 24%, and earlier months had similar steep decreases. Yes, absolutely frightening. Broader trends and survey data. In April, Canadian trips to U.S. On all modes dipped 29% to April of 2024. Yeah, okay. Since February 2025, automobile crossings have dropped around 23%, while air crossings are down 13%. Booking data indicates cancellations and substitutions. The OAG reports bookings fell over 70% in early 2025. Wow. Oh, this is great. Let's hear the underlying causes, what ChatGPT has to say. Okay, wow. Number one, trade war retaliation and rising anti-U.S. sentiment. Trade war retaliation. Trade war retaliation. You already know my position about this. Tariffs, yes, no good. Weak Canadian dollar, no good, no fun. But it's the rhetoric. It's the annexation threats. It's the calling us not a country. Just horrible disrespect. Okay. So trade wars and rising anti-U.S. sentiment. Canadians are actively boycotting U.S. goods and travel amid policy disputes and tariffs. Yeah, okay. Weaker Canadian dollar and rising travel costs. It's got to affect some people, absolutely, but I don't think it's a deciding factor. I really think it's a disrespect. Exchange rates, fuel, and airfare made U.S. trips harder on the wallet. Oh, and this is true. Political unease at the border. I'm hearing this more and more. New registration requirements for longer stays and general geopolitical tensions are spooking travelers. Yeah, not just from Canada. We hear kind of horror stories about, German citizen came in, was arrested and detained for a month or a week or whatever. There was this actress from BC that was detained for a week by ICE. It's kind of scary. Any relatives I have that are going to the States have to, they're wiping their phones and so on just to make sure they don't have a meme of JD Vance. Yeah, I said that before, but still, it's absolutely horrendous. All right, a little bit more economic impact. Pre-2025, Canadian tourists spent about 20.5 billion in the U.S. supporting 140,000 American jobs. Huh? Wow, good. And again, no, we're not talking about subsidizing. Nobody's bitching in Canada about how, oh my God, we're doing it, we do, and we do, and we do, and we're also helpful. No, but this is just a fact. Analysts estimate the downturn could mean losses of $2 to $4 billion US dollars in reduced visits and billions more in spending. I have a feeling. I have a feeling it's going to be more than that, and I have a feeling that there's still the in denial period, where it's mid-July for me. Oh, and I saw something funny. Somebody from Maine was blaming the rain for the tourists not coming this year. Come on. Come on. Tourism is higher than ever in Quebec City, and it's been raining nonstop. Huh. That's funny. Funny. Yeah, not funny. Okay. Summary at a glance. June 2025 road trips are down 33% year over year. Air trips, April, May air trips down 14 to 24%. Early 2025 bookings down 70%. Wow. Aggregate trip decline down 20 or 30%. Oh, and there's also, we hear talk about, hopefully, once tariffs are gone, the Canadians will come back and be happy and smiley and so on. But no, this is, even when Trump's gone, you think this is going to be finished? I don't know. How could we win back your trust? I mean, how could you win back our trust? I mean, we worked together for decades. We've been in every legitimate war you've been in. We've backed you forever and ever and ever. We've been there. At 9/11, during 9/11, all of your airplanes that were coming from Europe, we brought to Gander, Newfoundland. Oh, I should make a video about that, because that is wow. Gander, Newfoundland was absolutely fantastic in this situation. They have such a small population, but they had all these jets come in, and people were giving up their homes to help people, take showers and have clothes and food. And wow, Gander, wow, what a great story that is. Okay, I'll maybe later. Please let me know if you'd like to hear about Gander a little bit more. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to go look for a few of those videos I was talking about to let you see what's been going on and the rhetoric, if you will, and my disappointment in people not standing up for Canada. People not standing up for Canada. You know what? And also, there's stuff happening at the UN now. Trump is doing something with, what is it? The representative from the Palestinians is getting banned from the UN or something. Where the UN would be really good and really cool? How about Canada? We're pretty, Canada, we're kind of reliable. We don't just flip things on a dime. I don't think, anyway. For the US, that train has left the station. I mean, my God, the train has left the station. How will people ever believe you? Actually, that's not true. It takes generations, and eventually people will forget. People forgot about the flood areas in Texas after a couple of generations. I mean, people forget. All right, so now let's go, and we'll look for a couple of these comments I was talking to you about, and we'll react to them. Here we go. Okay, so this is a bit of an older video. I guess it's about a month old now, maybe just a little bit more. It's about tourism in Tennessee. Tennessee's been doing really well with tourism in the past couple of years. It's unfortunate. The video I wanted to show you was this video, but there's also one I saw about a Tennessee politician who was talking like at a town hall meeting and talking about how, don't worry, the Canadians will come back with a little bit of something like really good marketing or something. They'll forget about it and they'll come back. Oh my God. Marketing's going to get us back. Your politicians are fools. They think that every culture is the same and every country is the same. We are not Americans. We're not Americans. So the basic tenet of that whole hypothesis that, hey, we'll get them back because, we know people. No, you don't know Canadians. So let's take a look at this. It's called Tariffs Impacting Tennessee Tourism. A little bit older, but very, very pertinent as well. Let's go.
Concern tonight over U.S. tourism as the thought of Canada becoming the 51st state and those potential tariffs have caused some Canadians to cancel their trip to the U.S. As News 2's Kenley Hargett reports, this is a situation that could affect Tennessee tourism.
Just don't like politically what's going on. They're attacking my country.
Neil Anderson is one of several Canadians canceling their trips to the United States. He and his family were planning to visit Nashville and Memphis this weekend, but after continued threats of tariffs and talk of Canadian statehood, he says he's had enough.
Canadian
So it's a rather a big deal, a lot of money. But I just couldn't stomach it, so we booked a trip to Mexico.
Yep.
Tennessee has a very strong tourism industry with lower Broadway, Dollywood, and whiskey industries spurring a continued interest among international travel.
We actually saw that have an immediate impact on travel to the United States. Through our organization, we have members who are tour operators and travel providers who sell trips to Canadians into the U.S. And one of our tour operators told us immediately she lost about 30% of her business trips that she had already booked to the U.S.
The airline industry.
We love traveling to the United States. We love it. It's fantastic. It's great. Different culture, but more similarities than differences. I don't know where this came from. It came out of left field. Suddenly this anger towards Canadians. I'm not sure what we've done.
We could also feel the effect as Mahoney believes fewer Canadians will book flights.
Nashville Canadians are very important. They're the #1 international market that travels here to the U.S., and they're worth a lot of money to all of our tourism economies across the country.
According to the U.S. Travel Association.
Nothing about disrespect, nothing about, they're honorable people and so on, but they're worth a lot of money. Yeah, we get that. They're worth a lot of money. I'm sorry about the closed captions that are a bit lagging, but so be it. They're worth a lot of money. So disappointing.
Canadians spend more than $20 billion a year in the United States, and 140,000 American jobs depend on those travelers.
Wow.
Thinking about where to go, where to spend their money, the decision becomes a little bit easier when, depending on how they're viewing the U.S. and how friendly we are to them.
ABC News reported President Trump pausing the 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, and is quoted that Americans should expect job numbers to go up. Reporting in.
Okay, this is funny because this is a little while ago. So he's pausing the 25%. Oh, now they're back and then they're off, but then they're back again and then they're off. Oh, and now in Brazil. So the Brazilian dictator that was kind of, I guess, arrested for fraud and all kinds of other things was a friend of Trump's. So Trump is now threatening them with tariffs if they don't release their dictator. Oh my God, king of the world, anybody? What the fuck? Well, king of the world.
Nashville, Kenley Hargett, News 2.
Okay, that was good. Okay, so now let's look at how the tourism crisis is being explained by News Center Maine, how the Maine leaders and business people see this this boycott. Oh, it's so disappointing. I've seen part of this before. It's so tone deaf. And you'll notice, when you have, I work in IT. When we want to understand how businesses work and so on, what we do is we talk to the stakeholders, the people who run the business, the clients, you name it, people who have to do with the business. It's amazing how there's a little group of people talking together in America, deciding on why Canadians are not coming, without talking to who? Without talking to Canadians. So this is pretty interesting. Let's take a look at this video. And then we'll take a look at the comments, which from what I've seen, look to be pretty Canadian. All right, here we go.
As summer approaches, Maine businesses are preparing for what they hope will be a strong tourist season. But growing concerns over international trade and travel, specifically with Canada, are already creating uncertainty.
Today, Governor Janet Mills visited Kennebunk to meet with local business leaders about how to prevent cross-border tensions from damaging one of Maine's most vital industries. News Center Maine's Alex Haskell was there.
We need them and they need us.
At Kennebunk's historic Seaside Inn, it wasn't a tourist checking in, but rather a high-profile guest from Augusta.
And we're doing everything we can.
Governor Janet Mills pulling up a chair, not to relax, but to listen. She joined York County business leaders at a roundtable discussion.
Not to relax, but to listen. But who is she listening to? She's listening to business owners in Maine who are determining through their perception glasses why Canadians are not coming. I'm not surprised that the message isn't getting through.
It focused on economic uncertainty heading into the summer season.
We're now the oldest continually run family business in the country.
Kenneth Mason
sad.
owns the Seaside Inn with his wife, the 9th generation of her family
Look
to
how
do
pretty.
so since its founding in the 1660s.
Wow.
Everybody doesn't know what's going to happen, and they're all a little bit frightened.
The business is facing the same struggles as so many others across the state, rising prices due to President Donald Trump's tariffs.
It's paper goods that come from Canada and Mexico. It's linens that come from Pakistan and India.
His business is also being hit with a drop in Canadian reservations. He says he's refunded nearly $7,000 in cancellations from the north of the border travelers. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, visitors crossing by land from Canada into Maine are down by 158,000 so far this year compared to
numbers are all over the
last.
place. Who knows
It's
what to
just
believe?
their honor at stake, and they don't want to come down.
Governor Mills says she understands that.
What? He said their honor is at stake, and they don't. He gets it. He gets it. Thank you. Thank you. I don't remember his name. Thank you so much. Wow. Let's see if other people are not are more tone deaf than this gentleman.
The pressure businesses are facing and wants to help.
Uncertainty of the economy right now is really a tough challenge, and we want to do everything we can to help our businesses survive.
It's at this roundtable where Governor Mills is unveiling her new plan, one she hopes will help Canadians feel more welcome in Maine this summer.
We have just put up one of these signs already in Old Orchard Beach.
The metal signs reading Welcome Canadians will also be installed at border crossings and tourism hubs.
In my humble opinion, and with all due respect, I think it's going to take more than signs. Seriously. Signs.
Hotspots, an effort to smooth over soured relations. Business leaders like Mason are counting on this strategy.
We're here for tourism. That's what carries Maine. So we're here to welcome anybody.
Maine businesses are heading into an uncertain summer and know there's little room for setbacks. In Kennebunk, Alex Haskell, News Center, Maine.
So the last video I want to look at with you today is a video by Belle of the Ranch. I absolutely love Belle. She's so well spoken. I don't know who writes her text, but Belle, you absolutely rock. She's grounded. She's intelligent. Today she talks about, it's called Let's Talk About Canadian Tourists, Trump Declines and Billions. Now, I have watched this video before, so I know Belle. I love you, Belle. You don't always get it completely right, but wow, you get it pretty darn good. So let's go and listen to what Belle has to say.
Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle
Hello.
again. So today, we're going to talk about Canadian tourists, Trump, declines, and billions. While Trump backed off on China for 90 days, which was certainly the most pressing scenario capable of derailing the U.S. economy, there's another issue that is still getting worse. When Trump started his global trade war that so far has not paid off, he hit Canada pretty hard.
You think?
Not just with trade barriers, but also with pretty pointed rhetoric. He referred to the Prime Minister as governor and referred to their country as the 51st state. He talked about adjusting borders and talked about taking over the country. While that rhetoric has softened, it isn't gone. But what is
Wait
gone...
a second. Has it softened? Has it softened? Because he keeps doubling down. Where's the respect? You know what I think? I think this is but the way I see that your leader now is as the bully that was yelling at Zelensky. Just horrible. Bullies. In Canada, we don't like bullies very much. Horrible. Okay, let's back up a bit and listen to. I'm sorry. Here we go.
While that rhetoric has softened, it isn't gone. But what is gone are Canadian tourists.
Yes.
In large numbers. That's unsurprising, since Trudeau told Canadians to choose Canada for their travel and said, quote, "It might mean changing your summer vacation plans to stay here in Canada and explore the many national and provincial parks,
we have such beautiful
historical sites, and tourist destinations our great country has to offer." When that happened back in February, the U.S. Travel Association provided some projections. Quote, "Canada is the top source of international visitors to the United States, with 20.4 million visits in 2024, generating $20.5 billion in spending and supporting 140,000 American jobs. A 10% reduction in Canadian travel could mean 2 million fewer visits, $2.1 billion in lost spending, and 14,000 job losses. A 10% reduction at the time seemed catastrophic and unthinkable. Now, with a couple of months' hindsight, it seems more like wishful thinking. A 10% reduction could lead to 2 million fewer visits for the year. The numbers, looking at their residents returning from the U.S. when compared to the previous year, show about 700,000 fewer return trips in April alone by car. If you add in the reduction in return air travel, which is another reduction of about 580,000 trips when compared to the previous year, we're looking at the loss of almost 1.3 million trips in April alone. Going by the Travel Association numbers, it's relatively safe to say that Trump's trade war with Canada cost the U.S. $1 billion in tourism revenue just in.
No, not just Trump's trade war. But yes, we get it. Thank you so much, Bell. You're great. A lot of these numbers keep coming back, right? So we know they're abouts and approximates. Again, when I think about maybe I live in a bubble. My daughters have been telling me that I live in a bubble a bit. But anyway, maybe I live in a bubble, but I just think this is going to last longer. And I think you've touched a nerve here. The manifest destiny nerve.
Cost the U.S.
Let's back up a bit, Bell. I'm sorry.
It's relatively safe to say that Trump's trade war with Canada cost the U.S. $1 billion in tourism revenue just in April.
1 month.
And the conditions are set now to lose thousands of jobs. It wasn't just April. April's car trips were down 35% when compared to the previous year. March was down 32%. February was down 20%.
It didn't have to be this way. Why? Why the bullying? Why? It didn't have to be this way. We have such a good relationship. Such a good relationship between Canada and the U.S.
23%. Based on the Travel Association's numbers and this trend, it seems like tens of thousands of jobs are in jeopardy, and billions of dollars will be lost because of Trump's social media posts about Canada being the 51st state and his trade war. What's really important to remember is that this isn't the result of a policy decision by the Canadian government. This is the result of a policy decision by the Canadian people. They decided to not spend money with the U.S. That shift in attitude isn't necessarily going to end when Trump ends his trade war against Canada. Some of these effects will likely last years. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.
Okay, so you gotta love Belle. She's fantastic. Again, subscribe to her channel and like the video if you were lucky enough to be able to go and see it. It's not just tourism either. I mean, I see people now looking at their groceries. Oh, we have great broccoli here in the summer. Fantastic. We just got that. My lovely wife won't buy celery if it's from the U.S. It's got to be from Mexico or somewhere else. And you know, okay, so be it. We'll put up with it. The disrespect, though, the belittling, the idea that we're going to be easy to negotiate because we're Canadians. We could be so strong together. We've done so much in the past together. You know, the expression I used to use is, hey, together we can take over the world. But I don't want to use that because maybe the idea is to take over the world now. So I don't know how to say it anymore. But we could be so strong together. This is kind of, it breaks, absolutely breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. All right. I was going to look at some of the comments from these videos, but I don't want the videos to be long, and you can kind of imagine what's happening here. Bye for now.